Hi, I'm Gina Hurley. Welcome to another edition of Educating the Whole Child. Today I'm here with Principal Kathi Amato from Hyannis West Elementary School. So Kathi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to start by asking you, what does it mean to you to educate the whole child?
To me, educating the whole child means that we're not just focused on their academic needs, that their most basic needs need to be met before they can be prepared to learn, such as their physical needs, their emotional needs, their social needs. All of those need to be addressed before they can be in the classroom prepared to learn.
And one of the things that you've been doing at Hyannis West is using an approach called the responsive classroom. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
A responsive classroom, very simply, is a positive approach to teaching and learning, where the academic and social curriculum are equally important. And for some, that's a shift in thinking, because we think we send our students to school and they're getting all academics. But here we understand that you need to address both the social and academic needs of the students before they're learning.
And we are taking this approach in all of our elementary schools this year.
Yes.
So some elementary schools like yours here at Hyannis West is a little bit further in the knowledge base and implementing that. What benefits have you seen, and why do you think other schools should be using the responsive classroom approach?
Well, the responsive classroom approach is a climate. It's not just something that's on paper or in books. It's something that you feel when you walk into a school. Having students feel like they belong, that they're significant, and that school can be fun. And it's those three things that really are the key to responsive classroom, so that when that climate is built and that community is built in the classrooms and throughout the school, students want to come, they want to learn.
So to understand it a little bit better, there are some principles that guide responsive classroom. Can you mention some of those?
The social curriculum is as important as the academic curriculum. That's the #1 guiding principle of the responsive classroom. You need to have evidence of both going on, so staff understands that it's embedded in their teaching to address the social needs of the students as well as the academics. Also, a big part of responsive classroom is knowing the students, and that's knowing them culturally, knowing the students individually, knowing them developmentally, so every piece of the child, going back to the whole child, and their family as well, because it's all part of who they are. Another part of that is that cognitive growth or academic growth occurs at a faster pace when they can take risks, and they can take those academic risks, and the climate is a positive one. And lastly, that change occurs, true lasting change occurs, and it starts with us. It starts with us as the adults and how we interact. So how we talk to each other, how we interact with each other on a daily basis, we're actually modeling constantly for our students.
And how long has Hyannis West been using this approach?
Well, I was trained in responsive classroom 24 years ago when I started here as a teacher. And I would say about 6 years ago we brought it back, fully brought it back through teacher training and teacher professional development. And I'm very excited that it's in the district because it's just such a common sense approach.
And one of the practices that responsive classroom has is the morning meeting. So could you explain what morning meeting is, what the 4 components are, and what it might look like to actually see morning meeting in action?
There are 4 components to morning meeting. There's a greeting, there's sharing, there's an activity, and then there's news and announcements. Really, the whole point of morning meeting is to build community, to start the day in a positive way, to get to know each other, and also to weave in some academics there. And sometimes the students don't even know those academics are there, which is the best part, that they're starting the day in a fun, positive way together as a community.
And what are some of the other components of responsive classroom?
Well, at the beginning of the year, the students in every classroom talk about their hopes and dreams. And it's a nice way to start the year. It's a nice way to get to know each other and what their aspirations are. And those hopes and dreams get turned into creating classroom rules. So every classroom has rules that are based on those hopes and dreams. That's a responsive classroom practice. But those aren't just there at the beginning of the year and then forgotten. They're referred to throughout the year. Remember that we decided how we were going to interact with each other and treat each other. Interactive modeling is another practice of responsive classroom, where any routine, such as lining up or walking in a line or coming to the carpet and sitting in a circle, those are explicitly taught and modeled.
And how about closing circle?
Closing circle is a great time to end the day. In the busyness of the day, sometimes we don't get to see everyone. So at the end of the day, everyone gets together and they reflect on their day, something that was a strength for their day, something they did well, did they meet their academic objectives, and then something, maybe if there was an issue or something maybe they can do better for tomorrow, we can reflect on that and start the day fresh the next day.
So it's the whole class sitting down again in a circle with the teacher.
It might be a little shorter at the end of the day, but it's just a quick way to get together and reflect as a community at the end of the day.
We've also, in the district, started our PBIS expectation matrix. And so is there a relationship between responsive classroom and an expectation matrix?
I think they tie together nicely because our matrix is basically listing the behavior expectations no matter where the students are in the building. So the classrooms each have their own set of rules. But then when they're in the cafeteria, or out at recess, or on the bus, there's also a set of expectations. And those can be explicitly taught through the interactive modeling process of responsive classroom that I talked about. So the language we use is tied directly into the PBIS matrix that have the behavior expectations. So it really melds together nicely.
My last question for you is, what kind of feedback have you received from classroom teachers regarding responsive classroom?
The teachers that were here when I was here are so excited that it's in the district. In fact, someone made a comment the other day saying it's about time that it's coming to the district because we've been doing it for so long. It feels validating was the word that they used, that the practice that we've been working so hard on and practicing and putting into play every day is being seen now as important across the district.
Well, thank you for your time, and thanks for all the work you're doing at Hyannis West.
Thank you, Gina.